coffee, planes, and Plato. This episode is fueled by coffee and by Oops Away, your philosophical flight insurance. Travel can be unpredictable. Flights get delayed, luggage lost. Or worse, your sense of purpose. With Oops Away, your philosophical flight insurance, you've covered for all the usual mishaps and the unusual ones, like existential dread at 30,000 feet. Call today, and you might even get a free What Am I Doing checklist for your next journey. Oops Away, protecting your trip and your soul. Thanks for Oops Away for making this happen. Let's take off with this episode. You're listening to the edge of France, where land meets sea and storm meets stone. Malo, a city in Brittany, a jewel of jagged coastline and sky. A city wrapped in walls, cradled by tides, holding centuries within its embrace. Welcome to this episode. I'm Samara and ask today, what do walls do for cities and for us? Do they shelter or isolate? Perhaps both. In a world increasingly obsessed with boundaries, national, personal, emotional, few questions are more urgent. I've arrived in Malo on a misty morning. The tide was out, revealing ribbons of wet sand and seaweed. The walled city looked like a stone fortress, wrapped in its own history. The granite walls were thick, towering, and intimidating. They don't welcome you. They dare you to enter. But they were beautiful, draped in ivy, edged with cannons and the clicking of the footsteps of tourists and locals alike. This is not a city that was built to be seen. It was built to withstand. Built in the 12th century, expanded during the reign of Louis XIV, bombed in World War II, and lovingly reconstructed. Malo's walls have seen pirates, revolution, and tourism. As we begin our walk through the walled city of Malo, imagine the sound of the sea rolling against the ancient ramparts. These granite walls, built to defend against invaders, now offer one of the most breathtaking promenades in Brittany. Narrow cobbled streets, wind between stone houses, their slate roofs rising steeply, whispering stories of pirates and merchants who once ruled the waves. The salty breeze carries hints of butter and sugar from nearby creperies, where the scent of warm galettes tempts you to stop. From the ramparts, the panorama opens wide. Sandy beaches stretch below, and at low tide, you can glimpse the path to Grand Bee Island, where the writer Chateaubriand rests. Malo isn't just a city to see. It's one to feel, where history, the ocean, and daily life flow together in every step. Malo is not a city that bows easily. Its stones remember cannon fires, sea salt, and secrets. For centuries, it looked out to the sea. Not to be ruled, but to rule. Not French, not Breton, Malouin. Even its coats of arms tells a story. The ermine of Brittany at its heart, proud, upright. And if a fleur-de-lis appears, it does so slightly, like a guest. As you look up, the flags fluttering above Saint-Malo's ramparts, notice the two symbols that tell the city's story. The black ermine of Brittany and the golden fleur-de-lis of France. The ermine with its dark black and white speaks Breton pride and purity. A reminder that the city belongs to a region with its own fierce identity. Beside it, the fleur-de-lis, emblem of the French crown, recalls Saint-Malo's ties to the kingdom. Even as its pirates often sailed the seas with a spirit of independence that challenged royal authority. Together, these emblems capture the soul of Saint-Malo, both proudly Breton and boldly French, a city forever balancing loyalty and defiance. The French philosopher Gaston Bachelard once wrote in La Poétique de l'Espace: La maison est notre coin de monde, c'est notre premier univers et un véritable cosmos. The house is our corner of the world. It is our first universe and a true cosmos. By extension, our walls, whether stone or psyche, are worlds too. They hold us. They define where we end and the world begins. Bachelard speaks of rooms, corners, thresholds. But Saint-Malo's walls echo the same logic. Shelter within, separation without. They offer protection and define identity. Yet every identity, every self, carries its own walls, built to contain, to guard, even to define. As you walk these ramparts of Saint-Malo, pause for a moment and notice their weight. Layer upon layer of stone, set against centuries of storms, tides, and battles. They are impressive in their strength, yet they are not about defense. They also shape the way life unfolds within. Streets bend to the outline, houses lean into their shadow, and the rhythm of the city has always been tied to the rhythm of these walls. And so it's with the walls we carry inside. We raise them slowly, not with stone, but with experience. An unkind word, a disappointment, a fear carried longer than we realized. At first, they stand as protection, keeping what feels dangerous at a distance. But with time, they grow taller, and we forget they are not the world itself, only the boundaries we have built around it. We stand at the ramparts and ask, which walls comfort us, and which confine us? Les murs ne sont que les cris d'une mémoire qui nous souffle, qui nous fume. Walls are just the setting, a case for a memory that whispers who we were. And here we are, 21st century travelers on these stones, listening to that whisper. Here I invite you to think, what's your low tide moment? When do your walls soften? And if I open a gate, who or what would I welcome in? What fear would dissolve if I let the tide reach me? Yet, as in Malo, no wall is absolute. Look closely and you'll find gates where life flows in and out, and cracks where the sea air breathes through. Our inner walls are the same. In their opening lies the possibility of change, of connection, of rediscovering the horizon we thought we had lost. To walk these ramparts is to walk a mirror of ourselves, strong, enduring, but never beyond transformation. The question is not whether the walls exist, they always will, but whether we are willing to notice the places where the light comes through. To walk through Malo is to face our walls, to feel their weight, to imagine letting our gate open. So what do we do with the walls we carry? Perhaps we don't need to tear them down, but to learn where to place the gate. We live in an age of border walls, immigration bans, social bubbles, and cancel culture. Gated communities, block buttons. We are constantly deciding who to let in and who to keep out. But walls don't protect us from others. They protect us from chance. Malo shows us walls can survive war, shield us, carry memory. But the city thrives because it lets people in, to climb on the walls, to walk on them, to question them. Maybe the future of walls is not destruction but transparency, not isolation but discernment. And as I stood by the sea, wind on my face, I looked back at the walls of Malo. They were beautiful, strong, ancient. They are not just defense. They are a dialogue between inside and outside, past and present, self and world. And maybe we need not fewer walls, but better ones. Not to isolate us, but to remind us who we are and who we might yet become. Malo, between sea and stone, between memory and movement. Some cities ask for love. Malo demands respect. And strangely, you give it gladly. Thank you for walking with me through the city. May the tide bring what you need, and may your walls become wise. Good night.